Nice to meet you. Listen, what you're saying is
in the same way, the reason why Donald Trump is trying to
nice to meet you. Listen, what you're saying is yeah. Yeah. It's bad. Obviously, it's bad. And I told you guys, you know, that yeah, yeah. You know, we're in a really bad spot here. I don't know what else more to say. But we're gonna go through it. This is the beginning of the end, ladies and gentlemen. This is the beginning of the end of our country. Let me put out some notifications here because I don't want to repeat this twice because I'm physically ill. I'm physically ill from what I witnessed today. And look, you know, let's just do the whole thing. Let's just do the whole thing. I think we should do the whole thing together. We're watching the collapse of our country here. I told you this would happen. I told you this would happen. And I don't say that to say I told you so. I say that because I want you to pay attention to the things in the future that we talk about that are upcoming over the next several months. That these guys this guy has absolutely no fucking respect. No respect for Zelensky or Ukraine. Zelensky needs to leave Ukraine. I mean, I don't know if he can govern outside of Ukraine. He needs to get the fuck out. I'm going to be super blatantly upfront about what I think Zelensky should do. And in my opinion, he should govern from a secret location. This guy is not long for this world. He's not long for this world. He's just not. So let me change the title on this really quick because I want to make sure. I don't want to go through this twice. I really do not want to go through this twice, everybody. I'm physically sick to my stomach. Not because I didn't. Obviously, I knew this was going to happen. I mean, I knew, like, I didn't know that he'd walk out. Like, I didn't know what would go down with that. But I knew that this deal was a problem. The problem is that Zelensky doesn't have much in the way of options. You know? And so I think what I'm more concerned about, look, I'm not up here to say I'm concerned about the feelings of Vladimir Zelensky, because I have bigger things to worry about. But what I am is saying that I'm concerned about the future of this country as a result of that meeting I witnessed today. And I didn't watch the whole thing. I've seen clips. And it's bad. It's bad. They are making him out to be the enemy. And I just, as much as I knew they would do that, as much as I knew these people were in the pockets of Vladimir Putin, as much as I knew that these fascists would not take the side of democracy, I am still the most disgusted I have ever been. And that seems to be a norm that's set every single day to be an American. Let's get started here. We're going to watch it. It's about 40 minutes long. I'm going to watch the entire thing. I'm going to comment on the entire thing. And we're going to go through it. Let's do it. We're watching the collapse of our country here. This is very serious.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have President Zelensky of Ukraine. And we've been working very hard, very close. So we've actually known each other for a long time. We've been dealing with each other for a long time, and very well. We had a little negotiation spat, but that worked out great. I think for both countries, I think for the world, actually, beyond both countries. And we have something that is a very fair deal. And we look forward to getting in. And
by the way, guys, I'm going to set a gifting goal up at the top here, a super chat live goal, and all of that.
Digging, and working and getting some of the rare earth. But it means we're going to be inside, and it's a big commitment from the United States, and we appreciate working with you very much. And we will continue to do that. We have had some very good discussions with Russia. I spoke with President Putin, and we're going to try and bring this to a close. So
I bet you did speak to Vladimir Putin. Clara, thank you for the $6.99, says, I feel so sick at how they treated him. I feel so sick of the level of disrespect. Thank you for coming on to talk about it. Thank you, Clara. Appreciate the $6.99. I did set a goal up there just now. Just now I did set a goal. So let's see if we can hit that goal. You know what's good? I did get my AdSense number today, so I'll be able to hopefully get a check soon from YouTube.
Something that you want and that he wants. We have to negotiate a deal, but we've started the confines of a deal, and I think something can happen. The big thing is the number of soldiers, mostly at this point, but soldiers being killed. You're losing thousands of soldiers. So on both sides, we're losing a lot of soldiers, and we want to see it stop, and we want to see the money get put to different kinds of use, like rebuilding. And we're going to be working very hard, but we've
Mitten, thank you for the $4.99 super sticker. Appreciate you, Mitten.
had a lot of
Sorry, everyone. I'm deeply sick to my stomach. Actually, physically ill after what I've watched the clip, and him walking out. This is very, very bothersome to me. So excuse me if I'm not as happy as I may seem. I'm deeply disturbed right now.
very good conversations. I will say until we came along, the Biden administration didn't speak to Russia whatsoever. They didn't speak to anybody. They just allowed this to continue. And I will say that, I'll say in front of you, you've heard me say it 1,000 times, if I were president, this war would have never happened. We would have had a deal negotiated for you without having to go through what you've gone through. But your soldiers have been unbelievably brave. We've given them great equipment, but somebody has to use the equipment. They've been unbelievably brave, and we give them great credit. This was supposed to be over very quickly, and here we are 3 years later. So I give tremendous credit to your generals and your soldiers and yourself in the sense that it's been very hard fighting, very tough fighting. They're great fighters. And you have to be very proud of them from that standpoint. But now we want to get it over with. It's enough, right? We want to get it over with. So
then tell that to Putin. Okay, don't tell that to Zelensky. Tell that to Putin. Who are you talking to?
It's an honor to have you here. Thank you very much for coming. We're going to sign the agreement at the conference in the East Room in a little while, right after lunch. And we'll be having lunch together. We're also discussing some other.
Let me thank a couple people here really quick before we go forward. Cindy, thank you so much. As like everyone, I'm thoroughly disgusted Trump wanted it on camera so he could play the big man, and JD had to put his 2 cents in. JD trying to be the vice president again, that sicko. Cindy, thank you for the $5, Cindy. Appreciate you so much. Julie, thank you for the $9.99, Julie. Appreciate you, Julie. No question under Julie super chat. Thank you, Julie.
Things, and we appreciate everybody being here. It's somewhat of an exciting moment, but the really exciting moment is when we when they stop the shooting and we end up with a deal. And I think we're fairly close to getting that, and an honor to have you. And please, I'd like to say something.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you for invitation. And really, I hope that this first document will be first step to real security guarantees for Ukraine, our people, our children. I really count on it. And of course, we count that America will not stop support. Really, for us, it's very important to support and to continue it. I want to discuss it with details further during our conversation, and of course, the infrastructure or security guarantees. Because for today, I understand what Europe is ready to do. And of course, I want to discuss with you what the United States will be ready to do. And I really count on your strong position to stop Putin. And you said that enough with the war. I think that is very important, Ben, to say these words to Putin at the very beginning of war, because he is a killer and terrorist. But I hope that together we can stop him. But for us, it's very important to, to save our country, our values, our freedom and democracy, and of course, no compromises with the killer about our territories. But
it's crazy because Zelensky's talking like he's talking to Biden, like he would to Joe Biden. But this is a different animal. This is very sad. This is deeply disturbing. Let me thank a couple people here. Katie, thank you for the $19.99 super chat, Katie. Appreciate you so much, Katie. Thank you. Jennifer says, I am beyond embarrassed to be an American right now. After watching this, thank you, Adam. I stand with Ukraine. So do I. Jennifer, thank you so much for the $19.99. Slava Ukraine. Thank you, Jennifer, so much.
It will be later. And of course, what I wanted, we spoke about it by phone with you, about the drones production. We have very good drones production. I think the best one in the world for today because of the war. Yes, and of course, we need very much the air defense. You have the best air defense in the world, and really you helped us under attacks of Russians. And I want to speak how we can exchange the licenses. We're open to share the licenses of all our drones with you, of course, with the United States. And we need licenses for quick production of air defense. Even after the war, we need our nation.
Trump just doesn't consider him an equal. Look at the way he's looking at him. Mel and Callie, thank you for the $4.99. Said F MAGA, F Trump, and F fascism. Big W Mel. Thank you, Mel.
To be calm, that we're secured. So that's why we need this air shield. And of course, about this, I want to speak about the contingents. I think that France and UK already spoke to you. And we know that Europe is ready, but without the United States, they will not be ready to be as strong as we need. And the last point, last not least, about exchange, about our people and children. And you know that this crazy Russian, that they stolen 20,000 of children, Ukrainian children. They changed their names. they changed their families, relatives, and now they're in Russia. We want to bring them back, and really, it's a big dream, task, and goal for me, and our warriors. By the way, Mr. President, we released more than 4,000 warriors from Russian prison, but there are thousands more in the prison. I wanted to share with you some images.
Before he gets into that really quick and he shows the images, Ashley, thank you for the $5 on Venmo, says FDT. Thank you so much, Alicia. Thank you for the $5 super chat, says, I'm sure Putin loved watching his orange puppet do his bidding. This is so disgusting. And that's exactly what it is, Alicia, right? He just works for Vladimir Putin and that's his puppet. Straightforward.
I've just can I now?
Yeah, please.
One minute. I just you to understand in what circumstances, in what situation they are, and what the attitude of Russia to our prisoners. That guys, just you before and after. And you see before and after, just you to understand. Now thousands of such guys, ladies and men, there, and that so they don't eat, they beat them, and they they do a lot of bad things. So out of even
you can tell so far during this meeting that Zelensky is trying to prove to Donald Trump, trying to prove that Vladimir Putin is a bad guy, and that shouldn't have to be something he's doing.
During the war, there are rules. Everybody knows there are rules during the war. So these guys, they don't have any rules. You see that 50, 60 kilograms left, and a lot of such things. And I didn't want to show you what the changes with images of children, because I will share with you. And, I mean, it's looking tragic.
Yep, that's tough stuff.
I wanted very much to give you, and you see it.
Yeah.
This is pastor, by the way. They stolen pastors because.
Clara, thank you for the Canadian 279. FUT, love Canada. I agree. Clara, 100%. Thank you for the 279 Canadian. Appreciate you.
It's not Russian church. They stolen pastors and moved pastors to the prison. At the end of last year, we brought 3 pastors, and we could exchange them. And this is pastor, you see.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. So I mean, this I wanted to show you, and this. So thank you very much.
We want to get that ended, right?
Yeah. Of course, we
And
want.
I think we will. And
We have to, of course.
do you have any questions, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. With the, how much money is the U.S. going to put into the fund that is being created today, and how does this provide long-term security for Ukraine?
Well, we don't know exactly how much, because we're going to be putting some money in a fund that we're going to get from the raw earth that we're going to be taking and sharing in terms of revenue. So it's going to be a lot of money will be made from the sale and from the use of raw earth. And as you know, our country doesn't have much raw earth. We have a lot of oil and gas, but we don't have a lot of the raw earth. And what we do have is protected by the environmentalists, but that can be unprotected, but still it's not very much. They have among the best in the world in terms of raw earth. So we're going to be using that, using it for all of the things we do, including AI and including weapons and the military, and it's really going to very much satisfy our needs. So it's something that just works.
I mean, you can tell right off the bat that these guys are just not on the same page. It's not difficult to see, right, that they're just not on the same page, regardless of them agreeing in spirit that people need to stop dying. They're not on the same page. It's very obvious. April, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says at the end, Trump states that this will make great television, and laughed. EA thinks it's funny. The end of the United States is hilarious. Yeah.
Down really well. We have a lot of oil, and we have a lot of gas. We have a lot, but we don't have raw earth. So this has just about every component of the raw earth that we need for computers, for all of the things we do. This puts us in great shape.
And on long-term security for Ukraine, how does this provide?
I think they're going to have great luck. I think once we make the agreement, that's going to be 95% of it. They're not going to go back to fighting. I've spoken with President Putin, and I feel very strong. I've known him for a long time, and I feel very strongly that they're very serious about it. and we'll make a deal. And when the deal is made, I don't.
Problem is that ultimately Zelensky will have to sign it. There's not much in the way of negotiation power here for Ukraine. I respect Zelensky's negotiation skills and fighting for what he wants and the security guarantees for his country. He's in big trouble. And the United States is hurting themselves by putting him in this position.
I don't think we talk about security. Everyone's talking about the other day. All they talked about was security. I said, let me make the deal first. I have to make the deal first. I don't worry about security right now. We have to have a deal because right now, last week, 2,000 soldiers died on both sides. 2,000, and they're losing 1,000.
Yeah, he didn't sign it today, but the truth is that there's just not much in the way of room for him in these negotiations. I'm sure it has a lot to do with the guarantees. I mean, I'm not sure why Zelensky would have to wait for a security guarantee until after the agreement's signed. Shouldn't that be the major part of the agreement? Charcy, thank you for the $5. How are people not embarrassed? And Vance seems like he was brainwashed to go into aggro mode, and that's why we haven't seen him really. Vance wants to impress daddy. You know, he's a weakling. He wants to impress daddy. Look, all I know is these guys are destroying the relationship we have with our allies. And I said from the beginning, they're going to assassinate this cat. That's going to end up happening. Zelensky is, and I'm talking about Zelensky when I say that. Zelensky's in serious danger. He is in real danger. I really think he's in serious danger. And I think you would get nothing more than a shrug of the shoulders by Donald Trump if he does. If he gets executed, I think Trump would shrug his shoulders. Zelensky's in serious danger, and he needs to get to safety quick.
2,000, 3,000 a week. So as we sit here and we talk, people are getting shot and dying on the battlefield. And, you know, they're not American soldiers, but they're Russian soldiers and they're Ukrainian soldiers, and we want to be able to...
I'm surprised he came. So this is a good point, Tina. He has no choice. Guys, Zelensky came to the United States because this is what he has to do. If he's going to secure the future of his country, and remember, NATO can't make some agreement about Ukraine joining NATO. They operate on consensus. So as long as the United States is a part of NATO, the United States has, a major say in this decision. Doesn't have a choice but to come. He's in a really tough spot. Shatira, thank you so much for the $3.08 on Venmo. Appreciate you, Shatira.
Stop it.
I think that's Chachi. Thank you, Chachi.
And we want to be able also to spend money on other things. We don't want to... This is a tremendous amount of money. And what the Biden administration...
Sean Kraft just said, Adam, stop. Sean, do you think you're going to come in my live and tell me what to do, you fucking toenail? Do you really think you're going to come in my live and tell me what to do? Muppet.
Administration did was terrible. They were giving money, but he had no security.
And I'm going to listen, Sean, on top of that? You think I'm going to listen, you callous?
On the money. Europe, as you know, gave much less money, but they had security. It was in the form of a loan. They get their money back, and we didn't. And now, at least we're protected because the American taxpayer has to be protected too. But
E.E. Green, thank you for the $4.99, says we are sadly witnessing the resurgence of the USSR with U.S. seal of approval. I would agree. Maybe not the same name, who knows? The new Soviet Empire. I don't know what it's going to be called, but that's exactly what we're witnessing, E. Green. Couldn't be more spot on. We are the Axis. That's what we are now.
This is an incredible agreement for Ukraine because we have a big investment in their country now. And what they have, very few people have. And we're able to really go forward with very, very high-tech things and many other things, including weaponry.
Roxanne, thank you for the $5 on Cash App, Roxanne. Appreciate you, Roxanne.
Weaponry that we're going to use in many locations, but that we need for our country.
Mr. President,
This allows us to do this.
will you continue?
I'm sorry.
Military aid.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Sean says, I came to your live. And you can leave it just the same, Sean. Okay? You're typing like you're close to the mantle. You must not watch me often if you think I care about your feelings, Sean. Okay? So head right back to bed, the mantle, whatever's quicker. Okay? And leave me alone. I don't care what you think. And I'll never listen to you, Sean. Okay? Muppet.
If I can just, yes, in the document there is one of the very important points if we speak about business and investment. We never had LNG terminals in Ukraine. This document...
I don't care if you love my live. Don't tell me what to do, Sean. I'm this close to blocking you. Don't ever tell me what to do again.
...will open. I mean, the next document...
Who are you, my mother? Planted Waterbug, thank you for the gifting the 5 memberships, Waterbug. Thank you so much, Waterbug. Scoozy, you were gifted a membership, Scoozy. Rory Hatton, you were gifted a membership. Shay, you were gifted a membership. Kelly McDonald, you were gifted a membership. Kiss My Axe, you were gifted a membership. Wow, thank you to Planted Waterbug for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Waterbug. Make sure you thank Planted Waterbug.
Anyway, here we see in the framework, we see a really goodwill for this. LNG terminals for us is very important, and I think for security of European continent. We have the biggest storage, gas storage. We have the biggest in Europe, yes, and we can use it. Use it for LNG, use it for LNG, and we will do it. And really, we can help Europe because Europe really helped. President Trump said that they made less support, but they are our friends and they are our very supportive partners. They really gave a lot, Mr. President. They did.
They gave a lot, but they gave much less.
No.
This is where things start to slowly deteriorate here.
No. No.
Okay.
Mr. President Trump, you have repeatedly called the deal with Ukraine as a historical one. And as a president of the United States, you make historical decisions in other issues which affect America and other world. So, what place?
I saw some Republican be like, why doesn't Zelensky wear a suit? That's what you're worried about? You guys dress like you're going hunting 7 days a week, Muppets? And you're worried about Zelensky being in a suit? Every single Republican I've ever seen looks like they're in a friggin' duck blind.
In the world history do you want to take? And do you associate yourself with any famous historical figures?
Yeah, I'd say George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. I would say I'm far superior to George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. Now, you know I'm only kidding, right? Because when I say that, the fake news is going to go wild. They're going to say he considers himself to be better than Washington. But you never know. You never know. I don't compare myself to anybody. I'm here to do a job. We've had a great 35 days or whatever it might be, a month, a little more than a month.
I know, it was, I think a reporter asked the question too. This was someone else, but I think a reporter asked the question too. How come they don't ask Elon about his hat with the dog hair on it? I mean, Elon wears a crusty dog hair covered ball cap that says "Make America Great Again."
Accomplished tremendous amounts. Not only this would be a very great achievement if we could get the war stopped and get them back to...
How come you didn't wear a suit? A suit to see this guy? Yeah, right.
Normalization. I think that's going to happen. We've had very good talks on both sides, as you know, but I think we've done a very good job, just generally. If you look at all of the things...
Deb said, Thank you for the $9.99, Deb. Said, I stand with Ukraine. Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend asked about the suit. Stop. Are you serious? Oh my God. That makes a lot of sense right there. Thank you, Deb, for the $9.99 super chat. Zuck does suck. Thank you for the $5 super chat. To the reporter that asked about his clothes is Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend. That is weird, dude. You know, that makes sense. You know what? Never mind. It fits perfectly like a puzzle piece.
As we've done in 30 days, they're saying there's never been a opening for a president. The first month, there's never been a first month like we've had. And this is one of the
Oh, yeah, they're saying that. You're right. They are saying that, but not in the way you think.
very important things. This, to me, is one of the most important things because we have tremendous death taking place as we speak. And I don't want to have that. You know, think of the parents, whether they're in Russia or Ukraine, think of the parents of all these people being killed needlessly.
They came to our territory.
Should have never started. This would have, if I were president, this would have never started.
Watch this. Watch this. Now, look at this reaction here. Now, this is super interesting in terms of human psychology, right? Watch what Zelensky says. Watch what Trump says, and Zelensky tries to add a little, hey, well, they came to our territory. And Trump just completely ignores him. Watch.
We have tremendous death taking place as we speak, and I don't want to have that. You know, think of the parents, whether they're in Russia or Ukraine.
So now he says whether they're in Russia or Ukraine. So Zelensky's first thought is, in Russia? I mean, anyone that's dying that's Russian is because they came to Ukraine.
Think of the parents of all these people.
So Zelensky makes that face right there. Watch the face he
The
made.
parents, whether they're in Russia or Ukraine, think of the parents.
See, he makes that face like, hey, listen, anyone that's Russian that's dying is because they invaded our country.
Of all these people being killed needlessly.
They came to our territory.
So he's going to say, hey, they came to our territory.
Should have never started. This would have, if I were president, this would have never started.
Mr. President, where has out your conviction?
This is where you notice Zelensky's starting to get tired of him now. Zelensky's starting to be like, hey, listen, you're starting to say stupid stuff now, and I'm going to call you out. Micro Kimmy, thank you for the $1.99. Micro Kimmy, appreciate you. This is called the Krasnov weave.
Mr. President,
What do you mean?
continue sending military aid to Ukraine after the U.S. signed
Thank you for the $1.99, Kimmy.
this agreement with Ukraine.
Yeah, we're
And the
gonna be
question
continuing.
to President Zelensky: do you feel like the U.S. is on your side? That the President Trump is on your side at this
You know, the press doesn't help these situations, but regardless.
at this moment?
What do you think?
He wants to know, do you think that, sort of a stupid question. I guess I
No. Zelensky understands the question. What he's saying is, what do you think? Are you on our side? See, Trump thinks he can't understand the question. Dave Smith, thank you for the $5. Says, I no longer have words. I'm not sure what we are waiting for. A leader, maybe this turns my stomach. If we don't rise up, I'm leaving. This is pretty bad. This is probably the worst thing that's happened to date. This is considerably worse than anything I've seen in terms of foreign policy, for sure.
He wants to know, do you think that, sort of a stupid question. I guess we wouldn't be here if I wasn't.
I think that the United States on our side from the very beginning of occupation, and I think that President Trump on our side, and of course, I'm sure that the United States President will not stop support. This is crucial for us. It's important for us. Yes. And Putin, the president, speaks about the people and the soldiers which are dying, but they came to our territory, they came to our land. They began this.
See, he's not going to let that go, and that comment was totally inappropriate. Like this, guys, understand, it's crazy that Republicans fall for this so easily, the Republican voter base. But when he says, "I want people to stop dying," that's just to take away from Russia's, responsibility in this war.
And they have to stop. And I think this is the question, was really the most important question. Can President Trump, I hope yes, with some other allies, to stop Putin, withdraw these enemies, our enemy, withdraw these troops from our land? And I think that you asked about the history, I think that if President, or when, he will stop Putin, if President Trump will bring peace to our country, I think he will be on this wall.
Guys, I would appreciate everybody hitting the thumbs up button, contributing to the gifting goal. All these things help push the live.
We've had very, very good talks.
What about military aid to Ukraine?
President Zelensky just said that there will be no compromises with Vladimir Putin. I just wanted to ask both of you, firstly, are there compromises that you think that President Zelensky is going to have to make? And President Zelensky, is there anything that you might be thinking that you may be able to offer or bring to the table, for example, elections? Thank you.
I think you're going to have to always make compromises. You can't do any deals without compromises. So certainly he's going to have to make some compromises, but hopefully they won't be as big as some people think you're going to have to make. That's all. That's all we can do. I'm here as an arbitrator, as a mediator to a certain extent between two parties that have been very hostile, to put it mildly. They've been very hostile. There's been a vicious war. There's been a vicious war. You know, it's a very level battlefield, and those bullets go out, and as I've said many times, we were talking about it with Pete, many times the only thing stopping those bullets is a human body. And in the case we're talking about, generally young human bodies are stopping a lot of bullets. It's dead level. That's why it's great farmland. It's great land. It's great farmland, but there's very little protection against the bullets that are being, and other things that are being shot. So all I can do is see if I can get everybody at the table and get an agreement. And I think we're going to end up with an agreement. Otherwise, I wouldn't probably be even here today.
Mr. President, I've got two questions for you. You think ultimately your legacy will be...
So there's another. You're noticing Zelensky get more and more frustrated here. So Zelensky wants to follow up on this question, and they just completely skip over him. Watch closely.
Be even here today.
We're paying very close attention to the amount of disrespect that's happening right now for a leader, a democratically elected leader of this country. Watch Zelensky.
Mr. President,
He wants to answer. Now watch his face.
I've got two questions for you. You think ultimately your legacy will be the peacemaker and not
Yeah, he's just growing more frustrated.
the president that led this country into another war and ended foreign wars? And I've got a question.
I hope it will. I mean, I hope I'm going to be remembered as a peacemaker. This would be a great thing if we could do this. I'm doing this to save lives more than anything else. Second is to save a lot of money, but I consider that to be far less important. So I hope I'm going to, thank you, Brian, for that question. It was a nice question. I hope I'll be known and recognized as a peacemaker. This would be a great thing to solve. This is a very dangerous situation. You know, this could lead to a third world war. This was headed in the wrong direction. If this election were lost, if we didn't win this election, and by the way, we won it by a lot. That was a mandate. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. We won everything. The districts, you look at the areas of red, take a look at a map. This was a big mandate, and this was one of the things. I said, we're going to get this thing settled. If we didn't win, I think this could have very well ended up in a third world war, and that would not have been a good situation. What was your second
And
question?
my second question for President Zelensky: why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest. Why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if you.
Highly disrespectful. Highly disrespectful. I mean, Elon doesn't wear a suit. John Fetterman doesn't wear a suit. I mean, you're the highest in the position. I mean, he's trying to say, in terms of being a president, he should be wearing a suit. Does it really matter? Like, there is a certain something about being dressed, you know, when you meet the president and this and that. But in this circumstance, he's a guy coming from a war-torn country. What's the relevance? You can have a personal opinion you keep to yourself. And you say, he should probably be in a suit if he's meeting the president of the United States. But does that really matter, considering what we're talking about here? I mean, let's be honest. Elon dresses like he just got out of the dog bed. He stands next to the president. And by the way, if that's Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, okay, ask him why he's dating a linebacker. Bad built butch body. Muppet ass Muppet. You're one to talk. Are you the guy she had an affair with behind a Planet Fitness dumpster?
Do you own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not
Really?
respecting
I
the
don't have
dignity of this
such-
office.
I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one.
Maybe something like this?
something like
Yes,
yours.
sir.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
President Trump. Thank you, President Trump. You said yesterday that you have.
Are you going to send more arms to Ukraine in case there's no peace?
Thank you so much, Olive, for the $4.99. Appreciate you, Olive. Thank you so much, Olive. I mean, seriously, if you're dating Marjorie Taylor Greene, enough said about you. Did you ever ask Marjorie Taylor Greene about the pipe bomb? That would have been my response. Of course, he doesn't know that that's Marjorie Taylor Greene. He probably doesn't even know who Marjorie Taylor Greene is. This is tough to watch. The way we're treating this guy.
Yeah, we're going to have
I'm ashamed to be an American.
arms to Ukraine, yeah, sure. Hopefully I won't have to send very much because hopefully we're going to have it finished. We're looking forward to finishing this quickly. We're not looking forward to sending a lot of arms. We're looking forward to getting the war finished so we can do other things. But we very much appreciate the agreement because we needed what they had, and we're treating, you know, our country is now treated fairly. Biden didn't do that. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. This should have never happened. This should have never started. But, you know, sure, the answer is yes, but hopefully we won't have to send much because I'm looking forward to getting it done quickly, very quickly.
Does that mean you'll provide security guarantees, Mr. President?
I don't want to talk about security yet because I want to get the deal done, you know.
Can I just say this really quick? I just got this really dark, wet, like, feeling of despair that just came over me. Like, I don't know. I feel like something horrible is going to happen under this administration as a result of this guy's reckless negotiation. I'm serious.
You know, you fall into the same trap like everybody else. A million times you say it over and over. I want to get the deal done. Security is so easy. That's about 2% of the problem. I'm not worried about security. I'm worried about getting the deal done. The security is the easy part. Security is very nice. Everybody stopped shooting. And now will Europe put people there? I know France is going to. I know the UK is going to. I know other countries are going to, and they happen to be right next door. We haven't committed, but we could conceivably. You know, we have security in a different form. We'll have workers there digging, taking the raw earth so that we can create a lot of great product in this country. So in that sense, you have something, but we haven't determined that yet. I will say, in speaking to France and in speaking to, and they were here, as you know, last week and just the other day, they have committed to a lot of security. I don't think you're going to need much security. I think once this deal gets done, it's over. Russia's not going to want to go back, and nobody's going to want to go back. When this deal ends, I really believe this deal is going to be over. Question? Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you so
Mr. President, thank you. You had Mr. Macron and Keir Starmer at the White House this past week, both of whom praised your courage and conviction to lead the pathway towards peace.
Yes.
Part of that involved, though.
Oh my God, they're just ignoring Zelensky. Like, is this real life? They're just completely ignoring. This is more disrespectful than I thought it would be.
Thank you. You had Mr. Macron and Keir Starmer at the White House.
There he goes again.
this past week, both of whom praised your courage and conviction to lead the pathway towards peace.
Yes.
Part of that involved, though, re-engaging Russia in diplomatic relations, something that previous leaders lacked the conviction to do so. What gave you the moral courage and conviction to step forward and lead that?
Well, I love this guy. Who are you with?
One American News, sir.
Well, that's why I like him. One American News does a great job. I like the question. I think it's a very good question. It's a pathway to peace. It's a pathway to getting something solved. And I feel that as the head of this country, I have an obligation to do that. Plus, we're very much involved. We got involved. It's too bad we got involved because there should have been no involvement because there should have been no war. And there shouldn't have been October 7th. That would have never happened. As you know, Iran was broke. They had no money to give to Hezbollah. They had no money to give to...
Chrissy, thank you for the $1.99. He's going off on a tangent now. Thank you for the $1.99 super sticker, Chrissy. Appreciate you.
To Hamas. They were stone cold broke. And then under Biden, they became rich as hell. They went from no money to $300 billion in a period of 4 years. And they gave a lot of that money away, and you see what happened. And that's a real mess also that we hope to be able to solve. But no, I appreciate your question very much. It's just, I feel I have an obligation to try and do something to stop the death.
Guys, this gets very spicy. Very, very spicy. So I'd appreciate contributing to the gifting goal, hitting the heart button, spam that heart button, exit the chat, and hit the thumbs up button. We need everyone to hit the thumbs up button. Would appreciate it. Shelly, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Says, I'm so furious. This is just unbelievably gross of this administration. It absolutely is, Shelly, and it is deeply disturbing, and I think there's going to be severe consequences to come. Charcity, thank you for the $5. Says, oh yeah. OAN, my replacement for Fox. Yes, I love you, and your bootlicking butter me up some more. Exactly. Nothing but a bootlicking fascist network. Thank you so much, Charcity, for the $5. Shelly, for the $10 super chat.
If I can answer. Yes, if I can answer. Sorry. Please.
And I do like your clothing, by the way.
Yeah, really?
Even though I think he's a great guy, by the way. But I don't know if you two like each other. But you know what? I think he's dressed.
I like this guy.
I think he's dressed beautifully.
So I have more serious things than answer on such questions. I will answer on more serious questions if I can.
Oh, Zelensky took it to him there. Yeah, we got more serious things to answer than whether or not I have a suit on, Muppet. Tara with the $99.99 super chat, kicking the door in, Tara. Thank you so much, Tara. That's a huge super chat, Tara. Big W, Tara, in the chat. Thank you so much, Tara. I really appreciate that. No question, just a $99.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Tara. I appreciate you.
Yeah, so...
Can we just watch that one more time, how Zelensky handles this situation? Like, he's like, I don't know if you guys like each other. And Zelensky's like, I don't even know this guy. What do you mean, do I like him?
You two like each other, but you know what? I think he's dressed. I
like this guy.
I think he's dressed beautifully.
So I have more serious things than answer on such questions. I will answer on more serious questions if I can. Yeah. So please, about security guarantees and about just ceasefire. We can't just speak about ceasefire and speak and speak. It will not work. Just ceasefire will never work because I'm like a president. I have this experience, and not only me. Ukraine before my presidency, from the 2014, Putin broken 25 times. 25 times he broken his own signature. 25 times he broken ceasefire.
But he never broke to me. He never broke to me.
No, you won't.
It doesn't have anything to do with you. It's a pre-existing agreement. It's been in place for years. Dear God. This guy thinks everything is about him. It's so frustrating.
The president. You were the president.
But he never broke to me. He never broke to me.
No, you were the president. You were the president during.
He never broke to me.
In 2016, you've been the president, Mr. President. You've been the president, but he had, of course, not with you, but he had during those periods. He had conversations with our.
And technically, that's not true either. He actually did do it with you. I mean, if you want to consider like there were some aggressions, like we talk about the Ukrainian naval vessels in the Azov, that's still a violation of the same agreement. technically. It was broken prior to that in 2014, but it's still a repeated violation to be no aggression.
Outside. And we had Normandy format, you know, the France, Germany, Ukraine, and Russia. And he broken 25 times. That's why we will never accept just ceasefire. It will not work without security guarantees. Security guarantees, maybe President is right about this document and other, but this document is not enough. Strong army is enough because his soldiers afraid, Putin's soldiers afraid of our soldiers when we're strong enough. If we are not strong enough, if we are empty, if our storage is empty, we can't defend our land. Today, you know, he knows that we have, all the world knows that we have meeting, yes? Why he's using ballistic? Putin today using ballistic on our hospitals, schools, and etc. Ballistic. So he knows that we are here and that President Trump is really have goodwill to stop this war. And you hear now the president. So why he's using? So he doesn't want to stop. He doesn't want. But I hope that we will do it. Really, we'll do it. Security. When we speak about security guarantees, when the Europeans are ready for contingents, they need USA backstop. If there will not be United States, we will not never have any contingents, strong contingents from the Europeans, because they don't want to divide alliance, connection between the United States and the main and strongest ally and Europeans. And this is crucial, this is important. That's what we want to speak about very much. This is very important. And air defense. So air defense, really, we have big deficit with all this system.
Can you imagine Putin watching this right now, chat? What do you think Putin's thinking as he watches this? Got him right where we want him now. We just won the war.
And we need to provide this. We need it very much. Otherwise, Putin will never stop. And will go further and further. He doesn't want. He hates us, you know? It's not about me. He hates Ukrainians. He thinks that we are not a nation. He thinks, and he shared these thoughts, I think maybe with your team also, I don't know. But with all the Europeans, in media, officially and not, he always said that there is no such country, such nation, such language, and such life like Ukrainian. No, he really doesn't respect all the Ukrainians, and he wants to destroy us. And you are right, Mr. President, that's 2%. This document, maybe other documents, it's a very good start, very good, but it will not enough to stop this person.
Should Russia pay to rebuild Ukraine?
Mr. President, after these
Should Russia pay to rebuild Ukraine?
They have to pay.
This question.
This is the rule. This is rule.
They have to pay. They're the ones who started it. Kelly, thank you for the 99-cent super sticker. Appreciate you, Kelly.
Because the war. This is the rule of the war. During all the centuries, all the history, this is the rule of the war. Who began, those pay.
Do you agree
This
with
is the
that?
rule. Putin began this war. He has to pay all money for innovation. He has to pay. Of course, some Russian assets, what we have in Europe, about 300 billion, we can use them. We can use for innovation and buy military support from the United States also. We can do it, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
under these circumstances, do you envision a trilateral summit with Putin and President Zelensky?
Wait 1 second.
I asked this question that you didn't like because I wanted to know if you want to position yourself in the middle between Russia and
Yes.
Ukraine or on the Ukraine side.
No, I'm in the middle. I want to solve this thing. I'm
in the middle is a damning statement.
for both. I want to get it solved. And it's wonderful to speak badly about somebody else, but I want to get it solved. If we can solve it, great. If we can't solve it, they're going to have to fight it out, and who knows what's going to happen. But I want to see it get solved.
May I follow up? One more question about U.S. troops in Europe. After Russian invasion of Ukraine, your predecessor sent additional troops to Eastern Europe, including Poland, my country.
Yeah.
Are you committed to keeping these troops on the eastern flank of NATO in the future?
I'm very committed to Poland. I think Poland has really stepped up and done a great job for NATO. They, as you know, they paid more than they had to. They are one of the finest groups of people I've ever known. I'm very committed to Poland.
What about Baltics?
Poland's in a tough neighborhood. Yeah.
Kelly, thanks so much for the $4.99. Says Zelensky is the man Trump wants and wishes he could be. I agree with that, Kelly.
What about
Thank you, Kelly.
the Baltics?
The Baltics, they got a lot of. It's a tough neighborhood too, but we're committed. We're going to be very committed, and we're committed to NATO. But NATO has to step up, and the Europeans have to step up more than they have. And I want to see them equalize because they are in for far less than we're in, and they should be at least equal. You understand that? Why is the United States? We have an ocean in between. Why is the United States in for so much more money and other things as Europe? With that being said, and as you said, they've also been obviously very helpful. But we have put in far more than they have. And I think they should equalize.
Mr. President,
Yeah, please, go ahead.
ask you about the agreement again today. What changed between the first time that Secretary Bessent gave President Zelensky the agreement and today for the signing?
We made a deal. So
What was the
I'm just-
deciding factor?
I'm a business person. We made a deal. That's what changed. I didn't think we were going to make a deal. And we ended up making the deal, so that changed.
Mr. President, what?
Cody, thank you for the $2. Says Trump tough on Ukraine, easy on Russia and China. Exactly. We're the bad guys. We're the Axis. Emily's Blunt, thank you for the $1.99. Says everything is all about money with this guy. Always.
And how do you envision a trilateral summit with President Zelensky and Putin?
I don't know,
under
but
these
it's, well, they don't
Thank you, Emily and Cody. Appreciate the support.
like each other. I can tell you that. Okay? They do not like each other. This is not a love match. And it's unfortunate. That's why you're in this situation. The United States should not have allowed this to happen. Okay? The United States, run by a man that didn't know much, I'm going to be very nice, run by an incompetent person, very incompetent person, should never have allowed this to happen. I've stopped wars. I've stopped many wars. My people will tell you, I stopped wars that nobody ever heard about. I stopped wars before they ever started.
I stopped more wars, some people are saying, more than anyone in the world, okay?
You can look at some of, I could give you a lot of nations that would tell you right now they were probably...
I stopped Alvin Bragg, one of the worst, a dog, an absolute dog. Okay?
Probably going to war. I can tell you right now there's a nation thinking about going to war on something that nobody in this room has ever even heard about. Two smaller nations, but big, still big. And I think I've stopped it. But this should have never happened.
Sorry, just a second. About the
Dear God, let the guy answer.
any negotiations. First of all, I want really to tell you, and I think that everybody understands that Ukraine, modern Ukrainians, nobody wants to stop this war. But at the future, any negotiations, it's understandable that two sides of the war, not Russia and the United States, because this is not the war between Russia and the United States. This is war of Russia against Ukraine and Ukrainian people. So these two sides will be at the will be at the negotiation table. Then of course United States, like the strongest partner of the Ukraine, and of course Europe. I think Europe is very important. I want to speak about it with.
We're minutes away from when this all implodes, everyone. So, guys, I would appreciate. We have 9 minutes left for the super chat goal. Let's complete that super chat goal. If you guys enjoy the live, I would appreciate completing it. Hitting the heart button, spam that heart button. Everyone exit out the chat and hit the thumbs up button. I would appreciate supporting the live.
The president. Yes, Europe is very important for
And share it out on your Facebooks. Share it out.
us because we really defend Europe
Wherever.
today. All Europeans really recognize that we are defending the line, and they have real life, and our people are dying. That's why they helped us. And also, it's about the NATO. Yes, between, like the president said, you have big, nice ocean. Yes, between us. But if we will not stay, Russia will go further to Baltics and to Poland, by the way. But first to the Baltics. It's understandable for them because they've been in the USSR. You know, they've been one of the republics of the USSR, and Putin wants to bring them back to his empire. It's a fact. And when he will go there, if we will not stay, you will fight. Your American soldiers It doesn't matter. Do you have ocean or not? Your soldiers will fight.
Mr. President, would you be willing to visit Ukraine, maybe Kyiv or Odessa, which is known to be at the riviera or Black Sea?
It was my question.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to talk about Odessa now. Let's not talk about Odessa. I want to talk about making a deal, getting peace. We don't have to talk about Odessa, but a lot of cities have been destroyed. A lot of cities that are not recognizable. There's not a building standing.
No.
And a lot of things have to
Mr.
happen.
President, you have to come and to look. No. We have very good cities. Yes, a lot of things have been destroyed, but mostly cities alive and people work.
Once again, Donald Trump being corrected on something he has zero clue, speaking again on something he hasn't the slightest clue.
Children go to school. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes close.
It's the second time this guy's been corrected by a world leader in, what, two or 3 days?
People work and children go to school. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes closer to front line, children have to go to underground schools or online, but we live. Ukraine is fighting and Ukraine lives. This is very important. And maybe it's Putin is sharing this information that he destroyed us.
Oh, that comment there is deliberate.
No, he lost 700,000 people. 700,000
Trump's not going to like that comment right there about Putin sharing that information.
soldiers he lost.
Maybe, let me do this real quick before we get, because it's about to blow up here. Maybe Mike, thank you for the $4.99. Mike, thank you for the super sticker, Mike. Appreciate you, buddy.
Everything, yes. So,
Mr. President, one more. I mentioned Poland.
Please, go ahead.
When did you last speak with President Putin, and what did he say that?
A couple of days ago.
And what did he tell you that gave you the assurance that he wanted peace?
Well, that's what I do. My whole life is deals. I know pretty good, and I've known him for a long time. I've dealt with him for a long time. He had to suffer through the Russia hoax. You know, Russia was a hoax. It was all Biden. It was nothing to do with him. So he had to suffer through that, and he was able to do that. I think that he wants to make a deal, and he'd like to see it end. That's all I do. That's what I do. My whole life, that's what I do, is make deals. And I'm in the middle of a mess, because this is a real mess. It's a very dangerous one. If this doesn't get solved now, it's not going to get solved for a long time. So
Laura, thank you for the $20 super chat. Laura says Zelensky is my blank hero. I love that man. Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you so much, Laura, for that $20 super chat, Laura.
I hope we're gonna get it solved. In the back, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Prime Minister Starmer claims repeatedly that his government believes in free speech and was not engaged in censorship.
Go between your butt cheeks, down between your schnitzel.
Guys, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. It's not me. I have nothing to do with these. I don't know why that commercial keeps coming up for me. I don't. It's got nothing to do with me. I just want you to know that. Okay? I just want you to know it has nothing to do with me. Twisted Krista, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat, Krista. I really appreciate you, Krista. Guys, that's got nothing to do with me. Twisted Krista, thank you so much for the $4.99, Krista. It's got nothing to do with me.
For memes and thought crimes, and even more worrisome is pressuring.
Namasi, thank you for the $1 super chat. Namasi with the $1 super sticker. Jesse completes the gifting goal with a $5 super chat. Says completed. Thank you so much, Jesse. Guys, thank you for contributing towards that gifting goal. I appreciate it. Dave Smith with the $5 super chat says schnitzel. Schnitzel's right, but it's got nothing to do with me, though.
American companies to censor Americans on his behalf. How can he be a reliable...
Kimmy, thank you. I've been waiting for your take on this. Zelensky did a great job for remaining calm. He's better than me. Well, listen, this is really, really bad. I will say that. And it's about to get worse here.
Trustworthy partner when he says things that are demonstrably false on such an important topic.
Well, we actually...
Jeremy, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says the last successful Trump made was clicking his free Big Mac on the McDonald's app. That's it. He does that. He does that a lot. Cody, thank you so much for becoming a tadpole, Cody. Thank you, Jeremy, for the 5 super chat. Cody, thank you for becoming a tadpole. Let's listen to this.
We spoke to him about that
Leslie, thank you for the Venmo. The $5 on Venmo says, love you, Adam. Thank you, Leslie.
yesterday, and we thought they took it very, very much too far. JD was very strong on it. So was I. So was Marco. And we've been speaking to him about it. Marco, would you like to say something about that?
We have concerns, obviously, with the conduct of those, particularly as it impacts Americans.
I mean, I didn't even know they were sitting there before the camera panned over and showed these two Muppets sitting next to each other on the couch. I didn't even know these clowns were in the room.
And there's real concern that American speech, which is online, could fall into the hands of British or any country's jurisdiction. And so this is a point the Vice President made of Munich, and I think it's a very compelling one, that what unites us with Europe, as much as anything else, is these shared values, and one of them being free speech. And so if Americans are threatened by it, we're going to need to take action in that regard.
Mr. President.
It's actually a very important question.
We spoke about this in detail with the Prime Minister, the Foreign Secretary, and others at lunch yesterday. And I know that Secretary of Commerce Lutnick followed up in private meetings last night. This is really important. We believe Americans have the right to speak their mind, even if
I laugh every time I see the eyeliner.
we in this room disagree with them. They have the right to speak their mind in the public square, which is often online these days. And we're going to defend that right as it pertains to American companies and American citizens vigorously if we have to. I do think that under the President's leadership, we're going to find common ground with our friends in the UK on this question, but it remains to be seen. The principle that will guide us is we believe in free speech in this country and we'll fight for it for American citizens.
Mr. President, on the deal, is there any other oil and gas component to the deal? Is it all critical?
A little bit. We'll see.
On LNG?
But we're not really looking for that so much. We got a lot. We have more than anybody in the world, by far. So no, we're not talking about it too much, but a little bit. I think it affects also, but for the most part, no.
And sir, is there any agreement from Ukraine to purchase U.S. LNG as part of the deal, or is that on the table at all?
No, we don't need that.
Mr. President, I just wanted to ask you about, you just mentioned that you'd spoken to Vladimir Putin a couple of days ago. Just to be clear, that's a new call, not the one that you...
I've spoken to him on numerous occasions.
Okay. And how was the latest call? What did you discuss? How did it go?
Are you serious with that question?
I am. I'd love to know.
It went well. I think we're going to have a deal.
On the minerals deal, Mr. President, some of those minerals are in the east of Ukraine, not far from the front lines and in areas that Russia has occupied. Will you direct President Putin to withdraw his forces from those areas if there's U.S. interest?
Well, we'll take a look at the time. We have a lot of area. It's a very big area we're talking about, so we'll take a look. I'll study that and I'll see.
And who would protect those minerals if they are U.S. interests? Would that be Ukrainian forces?
They'll be protected. The agreement will protect them.
Oh my God. He doesn't really have an answer to these questions. Jesse, thank you for the $5. Elon must have been too busy dismantling our government to be here. So they allowed JD out of his cage. Yeah, I'm surprised they let JD on camera, to be honest.
The agreement, yeah, we're signing an agreement.
Right, but what if Russia tries to invade or there's Russian aggression in those spots?
I just told you I don't think that's going to happen. And if that were going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal. If I thought that was going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal.
Some people may wonder why.
How come you don't talk about Russia the way you talk about other countries? If the question was, some other country coming after United States soldiers as they defend rich mineral, resources, right? You would say they'd be very sorry. I'll tell you that much. You wouldn't want to do that. That much I'll tell you. But with Russia, he doesn't say that. He just simply says they won't. Do you notice that? Very, very deliberate in his language. Pay close attention.
I'm going to focus on CNN on survival, not asking me these ridiculous questions. Focus on surviving, because CNN's got such low ratings. I don't think they're going to survive. Let's go. Please go.
I already mentioned Poland. Poland was under Russian control for decades after the Second World War. When I was a kid, I looked at the United States not only as a most powerful country, richest country in the world, the country that has great music, great movies, great muscle cars, but also as a force for good. And now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
I will respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now.
Desi, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. This is about to pop off, obviously, so I'm going to want to let this run all the way through. Desi, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Says, are you still IRL tomorrow? Thanks for being here as always. Yes, I am going IRL tomorrow, guys. I'm going to a protest against Elon Musk tomorrow. So, guys, make sure you tune in tomorrow to YouTube, because we're going to be IRL streaming tomorrow. So I know you guys like those streams and you think they're fun and all that. I'm going to be out in the wilderness tomorrow, protesting against Elon and MAGA, talking to people, and so on. So tune in.
President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014 and 2014.
Yeah. So
you don't even know when the annexation of Crimea took place? Did he just try and correct the leader of Ukraine on when the annexation of Crimea took place? It wasn't 2015, Muppet. You don't even know when it happened? How embarrassing. How embarrassing.
Contact
2015.
2014 and
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
that's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position.
By the way, I will tell you this right now. I know more about foreign policy than both J.D. Vance and Donald Trump. I know how this started. I know everything that's happened since the annexation. I know more about Putin and his war crimes than Trump or JD as well. And I will tell you, Zelensky's 100% correct. That you're protected now because of distance, because of, the separation. But you are enabling and empowering a dangerous regime that will ultimately attack the United States in one way or another, whether it's through NATO or otherwise. In some way or another, we will be impacted by this negotiation. And I've said this from the beginning. I am so on the side of Zelensky here. It's not even funny. It's remarkable. They have no idea what they're doing. And I think this negotiation could put us in World War III. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm confident this is one of the biggest errors, one of the most grave errors the United States has ever made in negotiating foreign policy.
To dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position.
In the future. God bless.
See, I'm not down for this tough guy argument stuff. This is embarrassing. This shouldn't be happening in front of the media either.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? This entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you? You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the...
J.D. Vance is such this really could have ended without this kind of conflict. And in front of the media, this is just very embarrassing. And I'm sure Europe is not happy about this right now. But I will say that, why would he say thank you? This is more authoritarian than you could even imagine here. Did you ever say thank you? Thank you, Führer. This is unbelievable, people. I can't believe that we're sitting here together today watching this. If you guys would like to support the live, you can by sending super chats. I would appreciate it. You can also send Venmo or Cash App. I get 100% of the profit on Venmo or Cash App if you guys do like my content and you do appreciate me taking you through these crazy events over the next 4 years, maybe longer. I would appreciate supporting the live as it allows me to do that. Let's continue.
Opposition.
A lot of people said they should have. Country. That you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
you said thank
Even
you.
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I-
done.
Thank you, Sarah, for the $4.99 super chat, Sarah. Appreciate you, Sarah. This is getting ugly.
A lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying.
Zachary, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Or I'm sorry, for the $5 Venmo. Says what's ironic is Zelensky did say thank you multiple times during this meeting. He did. Yeah, he did. Elena, thank you so much for the Canadian $2.79. Appreciate you, Elena.
In our country, staying strong.
Chance of
We are
coming out
staying.
okay. You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of times thank you to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think
JD Vance, you're an awful. I'm gonna not say as much because I'm seriously so angry right now that it's hard for me to contain it. Deb, thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. Deb, appreciate you.
it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't, please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you'd take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're
I
saying
said-
you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire.
guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
it doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what.
That
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
you.
a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your,
with,
this
that
is
was with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make,
Um,
because the attitudes have to change.
what if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks?
Yeah, all Zelensky's asking for is security guarantees because Russia has broken previous agreements. If you guys are wondering, if you're someone that doesn't pay super close attention to that, and you watch me to explain, what Zelensky's saying is that I'm not going to take a ceasefire if it doesn't involve a guarantee that they're not going to continue the war in 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And the reason that he wants security guarantees, right, along with the United States, taking these minerals, these resources, is because Russia has repeatedly violated these agreements, right? There hasn't been diplomacy. One specific side has broken the agreements that were in place. Trump's side of the argument is that we need to stop this right now because we're responsible for you being able to defend yourself, and I want to stop spending that money. So that these are what the two sides are arguing. But truthfully, Trump's side doesn't make sense, and it is backed by a friendship with Vladimir Putin. That's what's suspected here, right? One guy, Zelensky, is a democratically elected leader, right? In a sovereign nation that was invaded by an authoritarian human rights violator. And the other side is the human rights violator, the guy that is responsible for the war, the guy that constantly threatens not only the West, but the United States specifically with nuclear deployment capabilities. There's a clear bad guy here, and it's Vladimir Putin. And whether Trump just wants to stop the war and doesn't care if Ukraine gets the short end of the stick or not, or has a relationship with Putin and therefore he has an interest in resolving this war where it doesn't benefit Ukraine long term, so we could take Ukraine. You take your pick, whichever you decide. You can either one, whatever your opinion is. Regardless, the point is this will have long-term consequences for the United States, because the United States is a member of NATO, and Ukraine, or NATO countries border Ukraine. And Russia and our intelligence agencies have made it clear that Russia totally intends on challenging these NATO allies. And if that happens, we will go to war. So if there are not security guarantees in place, we will feel it, regardless of what Trump says. There will be a conflict. It may not happen under Trump's administration. Do you hear him saying, it wasn't under my administration, it wasn't while I was here? Did you hear how he keeps talking about, well, it didn't happen under my administration? He only thinks about things in terms of a term, his administration. He doesn't think of things, he doesn't have any long-term thinking. He doesn't think of long-term strategy. Does this put the United States in a good position 15 years from now? Does it put the United States in a good position today as much as it will 15 years from now? There's zero thought behind what happens 15 years from now for two reasons. Number one, he probably won't even be around to see it. And he won't be the president. So it won't fall on his shoulders. He only cares about what happens under his administration. And that's a dangerous way to govern, let me tell you, especially in regards to foreign policy. When it comes to these, negotiating with these countries and making security agreements, it is extremely dangerous to have this short-term way of thinking. Joanne, thank you for the $9.99. Says Trump would never talk to Putin like that. Nope, absolutely not.
Please, I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do you do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia.
Whoa, he's telling on himself here. He's telling on himself here. Went through it with you? Whoa. Whoa. Zachary, I appreciate you, Zachary. Thank you for the $5 Venmo, Zachary. Appreciate you. I think I already thanked you for that, though.
Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out.
Emily's Blunt, thank you for the $4.99. Says Trump just said he wants an immediate ceasefire, and if Zelensky doesn't want peace, AK surrender, then Ukraine loses U.S. support. Exactly. Which is what I told you would happen before the election, right? I made this super clear. I told Trump supporters this regularly. You guys remember I debated this topic several times, and this is exactly what I said would happen. And they told me I was full of shit. And here we are today, and he's doing exactly what I said would happen. He will. It is my way or the highway for Trump, and that will never change.
At a Hunter Biden's bathroom. Well, he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents.
Wayna Curtin says, and it's what we wanted and voted for. Hey, Wayna, you may have wanted it because you don't know what you're talking about. Okay? But I didn't want it. I advocated against it every day of my life. Every breath I had in my lungs, I advocated against this happening. So you may have wanted it because you don't know what you're talking about. But I didn't want it. Don't you put me in the same category as you, Muppet.
The whole thing was a scam, and he had to put up. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam, and he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy.
Oh my God. This is like a guy talking to some guy at a bar. It's the President of the United States talking this way.
The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right. We'll see what we can do about putting it together. Thanks.
I need the back of this.
We'll see. I don't know.
All right, guys, come on. Wait, hey, guys, come on. Let's move, please.
You may think that an adult that can't stop.
What takes 7 minutes to cook has up to.
What do we think, chat? Let's go a little bit more into this here, guys. By the way, I'd appreciate completing the super chat goal. Let's get a little more into it here.
U.S. president there in the.
I need the back of this.
We'll see. I don't know.
All right, guys, come on. Wait, hey, guys, come on. Let's move, please.
All right, so you just heard there that entire joint a press conference that was held inside of the Oval Office. And then moments ago, take a look at this video that we just got in from outside of the White House. As you're going to see there, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky exiting. Now that we know that that joint news conference that was set to happen later on today between both of those world leaders has effectively been canceled. It remains to be seen what is going to happen going forward here between the negotiations of the United States and Ukraine. It may be possible that later on today we are going to get some remarks from President Zelensky, although not that joint conference that we were anticipating with both he and President Donald Trump after that tense exchange, about 45 minutes that we showcased here with that playback tape of the Oval Office meeting in which several reporters were asking questions to both of those presidents. Vice President J.D. Vance also there in attendance making some remarks. And you saw really the tense moments towards the end of that. We do also have a recent statement from President Donald Trump in which he does say that, quote, I have determined that President Zelensky is not ready for peace if America is involved because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. And goes on to say, I don't want advantage, I want peace. He can come back when he is ready for peace. So that was posted on his social media platform, Truth Social, just moments ago. And then this is just a little bit behind as we saw the Ukrainian president exiting there from the White House. You're going to see that vehicle departing there after his visit and his meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump. We're going to keep monitoring this situation. We do want to step away for a brief commercial break here. When we come back, we're going to recap this entire scene that we just witnessed.
Wow. I don't know what to say more than just wow. This is crazy, people. So apparently Trump kicked him out, according to Fox News. So Fox News says he was kicked out. Yeah, right. So Fox News says he was kicked out. Let's see what they have to say here. Let's see what these Muppets say.
Jackie Heinrich.
Guys, by the way, we have 3 minutes and 50 seconds left to complete the last gifting goal here. We need 4 more super chats. Can we please complete that goal? We need 4 more super chats. Hope you enjoyed watching this with me today.
Has some new information for us, Jackie. Back to the White House. Jackie Heinrich has.
Here. So this is supposedly breaking news that Trump kicked them out. Let's see.
Back to the White House. Jackie Heinrich has some new information for us. Jackie.
Yeah, I just went up to the press area to get an understanding of what we're watching. This is what I was told. The president has kicked Zelensky out of the White House. His delegation right now is telling him that he's got to go home. The president felt disrespected. Officials in the room felt that beyond the language barrier that we've heard some discussion about, Zelensky's body language, shrugging and eye rolling, was ungrateful, disrespectful, and the president feels that Zelensky is not ready for peace, and he can come back when he's ready to talk about peace, but he's not in that position right now, and Zelensky is being told he's got to go. The
Doctor of Thoughts, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you, Doctor. Jess, thank you for the $5 super chat. Impeach the illegitimate president. He's definitely not constitutionally eligible. I didn't see any eye rolling. I didn't see that at all.
The lunch that they were supposed to have is sitting right outside the hallway, and the press staff.
Like, I could understand if he was eye rolling, and that would be disrespectful, but I didn't see any of that. He definitely, is he supposed to sit there like a star? I mean, Trump, of all people, who makes faces after every remark, should be the last one to talk about making faces. He seemed very respectful. I don't know. He just wanted, the only thing he didn't like was that they weren't letting him answer questions. That's what he was frustrated with. Carly, thank you for the $1.99 super chat, Carly. Guys, we have 1 minute and 50 seconds left for the super chat.
Are going to be eating that lunch. Being told he's got to go. The lunch that they were supposed to have is sitting right outside the hallway, and the press staffers are going to be eating that lunch. This is really pretty incredible. We see the
Jackie,
SUV,
hang on with us
Zelensky's
one moment.
SUV.
If you look to your left, you're going to see him. Let's watch.
Mr. President, is the deal off? President Zelensky, can you tell us what happened?
Remember what I told you guys? I made that prediction that Zelensky, they're going to try and unalive Zelensky. They're going to try and kill Zelensky. Remember, I told you that. That prediction remains. T-Boo918, thank you for the $9.99, says most horrific moment in recent history for the U.S. Marco had a lot to say. What the fuck? Yes, he did. I was surprised that J.D. Vance was as forthcoming, was as aggressive as he was there. I almost feel like this was deliberate. They had a conversation beforehand. Look, if he gets disrespectful, we want to show the American people we're trying to spin the narrative that he's not thankful. And that's just entirely propaganda, right? You called it. Yes, I did. I knew this was coming. I knew that regardless of a deal, and regardless of if there is a deal, Zelensky is in a tremendous amount of danger right now. Tremendous amount of danger.
Go, President, through the
Laura, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, if I was Zelensky, as soon as JD Rose's tone voiced him, I would have walked out. So much disrespect by Trump and Vance. But here's what you have to understand, right? He really can't, Laura, right? And I understand what you mean, Laura. And thank you so much, Laura, for the $5. And Jess, FDT to hell. Exactly, Jess. Agree with you. And Soul Bulb Collective. Jamie, thank you for the $4.99. Says, thank you, Adam, for going live with this. I am so sick. Let me say this. Zelensky wants a deal. Zelensky needs a deal. And he doesn't have much in the way of negotiating power. His country is on the line here. So he's trying to get this done. These people are impossible to negotiate with. And it must be incredibly frustrating because Zelensky's, informed on the history of Ukraine and the prior agreements that were broken. What he's simply asking for is security guarantees different from what happened, that were different from past security agreements, because those past security agreements didn't work. So what he's asking for is a solid agreement that if Russia violates this agreement, that the United States will be responsible for enforcing it, will be responsible for responding in a way. There has to be guarantees because Putin has broken every agreement previously. So why would you not ask for a more solidified agreement as a part of this negotiation? Otherwise, what's it all worth? To take a break for a year? They might as well just sign a temporary ceasefire. When Trump leaves office, we will resume the war. It's meaningless without a solid security agreement in place. Meaningless.
To achieve peace. Well, Zelensky, we're told, was begging to stay and work this out. The Ukrainians were...
Day went smoother.
Well, Zelensky, we're told, was begging to stay and work this out. The Ukrainians were begging the president and the White House to continue talking. The president's having none of it. He felt that Zelensky's just not ready for peace, and this deal was not signed. There is no signing. There will be no joint press conference. The next time we're going to see the president is at departure. There he goes right behind me. Zelensky on his way out of the White House gate. No deal signed, no joint press conference, tensions at an all-time high between these two leaders. Really, the prospect of peace talks, what this means for the war that has raged on for 3 years, you cannot overstate what a moment in time we've just witnessed. And while the president left the invitation open to come back when you're ready to talk seriously about what it takes to achieve peace, Zelensky feels very dug in. He was dismissive of the U.S. overtures that you've got to accept a ceasefire first. You've got to deal with the other side. The divide between the two could not be wider. And so we expect to see the president at departure.
That's not at all the problem. He just wants guarantees. See you later, Autumn. He just wants security guarantees. That's what this is about.
One departure later on this afternoon when he heads to Mar-a-Lago for the weekend. But that is the only other time we're going to hear directly from him. And I guess we'll hear from Zelensky on special report tonight. But that is going to be must-watch TV after what we have witnessed here today.
So where are we hearing from Zelensky later? Can someone in the chat tell me? A Russian state media reporter gained entry to the Oval Office, by the way, people. Just want to add this in here really quick. This is deeply troubling. A Russian state media person tried to, or did enter, gained entry, was inside the Oval Office. Holy crap. Holy crap.
Fox News alert now. President Trump is on his way to Florida, and he may stop and talk to reporters after one of the most breathtaking moments in Oval Office history. President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance getting into an epic shouting match with Ukrainian President Zelensky as they tried to hash out.
Has Trump commented on this? I really want to know if there was a comment there. I know he's going to Florida, but I want to see, was there any comments from him or no?
CNN's Caitlin Collins was in the Oval Office for this meeting. Caitlin, it's hard to imagine a scenario in which this could have gone worse. This seems to be a dream come true for Vladimir Putin.
Well, it's not an overstatement for sure to say that it is one of the most astonishing moments that we have ever seen happen inside the Oval Office, between these world leaders essentially shouting at one another by the end of this, devolving into, at points, Trump and Vance berating Zelensky for saying that he was not being grateful enough for the aid that the United States has provided to Ukraine, and Zelensky arguing back that they do not understand Putin, essentially, that he will violate any agreement if the proper guarantees aren't in place. That seemed to particularly incense Trump, as he was saying, don't tell us what we're going to feel. Zelensky has been arguing that Putin will not stop with Ukraine, that he will go on to other Eastern European nations, including Poland.
Wow. That is disturbing, people. That is disturbing. Look, I'm going to get out of here. That was deeply disturbing. I might come back on tonight. I'm not sure yet, but I might come back on tonight. We'll see. I hope you guys enjoyed the live. That was obviously troubling, to say the least. I'm not sure if I'm going to come back on tonight because tomorrow I am going IRL content. So I'm going to grab my selfie stick. I'm going to put my camera on my selfie stick, and I am going to be IRL at a anti-tyranny protest and gathering and meeting tomorrow. So that's going to be, I think it starts at 1 o'clock, but I'll be live before 1 o'clock. Somewhere around noon or something like that. So start looking for me around noon or so. Probably going to do my Substack in the morning. Still, I'll do my coffee and Substack in the morning if you're a Substacker and you enjoy my written content and that kind of stuff. I do a little coffee live stream on Substack every single morning. Meet me over there in the morning. And I will see you guys then. All right? I will see you guys then. All right, everyone. Take care. Hope you have a wonderful evening if you do not see me again tonight. Okay? That was troubling. That was troubling. That really was. Take care, everyone. Have a very good night. Listen, do something other than politics. You need to take breaks. Love you guys.
Restream.